Hey y'all, it's me Marty. Good morning and happy Thursday. Good coffee on a cool morning. It's about 40 degrees this morning. And I am home and I'm in my shop, which is always great. So I got home Tuesday and yeah, just enjoying time with my wife and just being home and having time with kids and grandkids and trying to rest, trying to relax, which is really hard for me, but I'm trying to be better at that. But also doing some chores, doing some woodworking projects, doing some videos, and just doing different things that I enjoy, but really trying to rest too. And I have had some hammock time, and I've had time sitting on the deck with coffee in the mornings, listening to the birds, and lots of birds are just coming alive and coming out. Spring has sprung. So yeah, it's been in the 40s and 50s this week, and so I hope you all are doing well. Thought I'd do a quick little video here this morning, show something I made. I have a few woodworking projects that I want to do while I'm home, and I'll do videos on those, probably at least 3, I think. So we'll see. So the one I did yesterday, I actually did 3 versions of this project, and I know I've done this before and you've seen them. They're nothing new. It is the empty tomb project, okay? And I think they're really fun. People have been doing them for a few years. Woodworkers have been making lots of different ones out there that people are making, and this is my version. I just thought I'd show you what I made and also just give you some tips. So this is the empty tomb, okay? I really like making these because it's a fun project. It's an easy project. It's a wonderful gift. It's a great thing to sell, and it's just a really nice thing. It's the Easter season. This is Palm Sunday coming up, and Easter's next Sunday. And yeah, just an example to remember what Jesus did for us. And it's the empty tomb. He's not in the tomb anymore. He is risen. He is alive. So I want to show you these and just talk about them a little bit and just give you some different tips, things I've learned. It's just my personal ideas and tips and stuff on the empty tomb. So I made 3 of them here. Okay, and I want to show you all 3, and the reason I did 3 different ones, well, we're going to give these away for gifts, and I might even make some more, but I wanted to just try some different things, and just to show you the variety and all the different things you can do. So the first one I did is out of pine, okay? All the boards are pine, and I painted it, okay? So I cut all the pieces out of pine, and I painted it. What do we got here? Some green, brown, other green, gray, black, just some different colors. And I think it turned out really cool. Now, I don't paint a lot of wood. Sometimes I'll do my little Christmas things and I'll paint them. I do enjoy doing those. But mostly I like to leave wood natural, put a clear coat or stain or whatever. But sometimes painting is fun. And just to show you what you can do, there's different ways you can do this. So all the pieces are cut out of pine, and each one is painted and then glued together like that. So that's a painted version. Also, what I did was, for the most part, I wiped the paint off. If I am going to paint something, unless I want it bright, like if I want it like Christmas trees or snowmen or something, most of the time I will wipe the paint off. So I'll put the paint on and then I'll wipe it off again. So then you still have some of the wood grain and you have that kind of antique look, and it's not real bright and bold. It's more subdued. So if I do paint something, for the most part, I'll put the paint on and wipe it off again. I just think it looks really nice. And again, these aren't perfect. They're not fancy, but I think they turned out really nice. So that is the pine painted version. Then I made another one, and this is all made out of poplar. All one color, all one wood again, but on this one, I stained each color, each piece, and I stained it with different stains, different color stains. I don't know what I got. I think I got golden oak and pecan, and actually I think I have some Danish oil in here and dark walnut. So they're different stains, they're different stains, stained different colors. The same wood though, it's all poplar. So that's one way. You can stain all the parts. And then my favorite, and the way I usually do it, is hardwoods. This is all hardwoods and just clear coated. Clear coat brings out the color of the different woods and the wood grain and stuff. This is my favorite. This is the kind I usually make. But I just wanted to show you a few different ways you could do it. Now, as far as patterns, now I'm different. I mean, look at me. I'm really different. I'm weird. I'm just a putz. I'm just a goof. But that's the way God created me. And I like to do things different. So I've been woodworking for 35 years at least. Yeah. And doing different things, mostly Scrollsaw, but lots of other woodworking. And so I've been doing it a long time, but I still consider myself an amateur. I'm always learning. You know, I'm always learning more, and I always want to keep learning. I don't know everything. But every woodworker is a little bit different in how you do things. A lot of woodworkers out there like to take a pattern or a plan and do it exactly like that. Okay, that's what a lot of woodworkers do, if not most. But that's not me. So if I'm going to take a pattern, like here's a template, and I like to use hardboard templates for a pattern, whether it's that or whether it's a paper pattern, like this one here, which I'm actually going to do this cross this week too. Whether it's a template or a paper pattern, I just use it as a guide. Just a guide. I mean, I don't like to do things exactly like the pattern is or the plan. I don't like to do exactly what everybody else is doing. I like to do things different. I like to make them unique. This is handcrafted woodworking. They're not all supposed to be the same. I mean, you could do stuff on a laser, and that's fine, or manufactured or whatever. If you do all that kind of stuff, they'll be all exactly the same. But I don't want them exactly the same. It's handcrafted woodworking. So I just use the pattern as a guide. So that's one thing. I encourage you to just be yourself, be unique, be different. Color outside of the lines. I literally, when I'm cutting on my Scrollsaw, many times, most of the time, I kind of go outside the line or inside the line, make it a little different. I like to make things a little, the different projects, even these three are different. Just make them different and add things to them and take away things, and maybe not cut out all the inside cuts, maybe not do all the parts of it. Just make it unique and different. And that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it handcrafted. So I would really encourage you to do that. You know, it's okay if you want to take a pattern or a plan or whatever and do it exactly the way it's supposed to be done, exactly like everybody else is. But also, you know, think outside the box and be creative. Now, there's a few different things about these. So I'll show you the pattern I made. So I made a pattern, but I still go outside of it, and I might make some other designs. I just thought, well, I'll make my own kind of design, and then I'll make most of them like that, but I'll vary it. People are making the empty tombs all different ways, small and large, wide and tall. They're using, I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 pieces in mine. Some people only have 3. Some people have 8. You can add different pieces and different things to it. You can make them all different ways. I mean, you could make this an intarsia project. You can make it all different ways, or a puzzle, or you can have them separate pieces. There's so many different ways you can do this. I'll just show you real quick the template I made. So basically, I look at it as like there's a mountain scene behind. That's what I have. And then the next piece is the smaller one. I call it the hillside. It's just my thing to have a name for each one of them. And then I have the cave. And then I have the ground, or the base, that goes underneath. And then I have the stone. You know, and then I have the cross. And that's my template set. And I just use those. And I just trace it on pine or poplar or hardwoods or whatever, and then cut them out. It makes it simple and easy. And so the way I make these, and I was going to do one start to finish, but I actually slept in. I woke up a little too late. So, and I wanted to do this video this morning before I start the day. But, I've done other videos talking about these, and there's a lot of people out there who do how-to videos. So basically what I do is I cut all the pieces. And again, this is 6 pieces, cut them all out. And then I sand them all on both sides, sand the edges. And what I usually do is I sand or kind of round over the front edges just to kind of round them, take the edge off. Sometimes I will router them, take like a 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch round over a bit and round over the corners of the different parts. You can do that. And then I just clamp and glue them together. So, really simple. I can show you real quick here. There's all different glues out there, but I use one of these. I use the Titebond. This is regular Titebond 1. That's what I use most of the time, but I just grab different ones, whatever's on sale. This is Titebond 2. It's water resistant. You know, these don't need to be water resistant or waterproof unless you're having it outside or something. And that's Titebond 2. This one's Titebond 3. It's waterproof. I use that more for cutting boards and different things like that. But anyway, so I'll just I'll glue the pieces together, and I use and you can use different clamps. There's different kinds of, but I like these spring clamps. Oh, that's good exercise for your hands. Ooh, I got carpal tunnel and arthritis though. Okay, but I like this big one here because it'll go all the way. You can glue them all up at once. So what I do, and again, everybody's different and it depends on what yours is like, but for mine, I'll take these 3 pieces and I'll set them the way I want them, and I'll stand them up on my workbench so that they're flush, and I'll glue them, put glue between them, and then I'll put that clamp on. I actually put like 3 or 4 of those clamps on, and then just let it dry. Then what I do is I'll take it, and again, you want to make sure it's flush on the bottom when you glue those 3 pieces together. Then I'll glue them to the base, and then I'll glue the stone on, and you can do it differently. You can put it kind of halfway in front of the hole or whatever. You could actually cut the stone out of this board. I don't. I like to have them all different woods. So I cut it out of a different piece of wood. And then I just have it like it rolled away, which is true, And you could actually have the piece out of there if you wanted to. But actually, and I'll talk about tips and options in a little bit. But and then I just glue across on there. That's all I do. And then sometimes I didn't on these, but I actually might. I'll put screws in from the back. Glue is stronger than nails, y'all. It's all you really need. If you clamp and glue something, you don't need anything else. Especially for this, it's just a decoration. But sometimes I'll put a couple screws through the back that go all the way, that they'll hold the 3 pieces together, and then a couple screws from the bottom. Or you can pin nail them with an air nail or whatever. And then I just spray a clear coat on them. Okay, and what I usually use, again, there's a lot of things out there, but these are the ones I like. If I'm going to just clear coat something and give it a little bit of color, but more protection, and give it a little bit of a shine or whatever, I like Minwax Helmsman. This gives it a little bit of a tint to it. I really like this stuff. It works really nice. I also like this one, Varathane polyurethane, and this goes on really thick and it's kind of shiny. That one's a good one too. Then I have Minwax, just regular polyurethane. I've used that for years. Probably my favorite, really, is Rust-Oleum Satin Clear. This goes on really nice, and it looks nice, and it covers, and I like that it has the nozzle's a big wide one, and it's a really good spray, and it just covers really nice. But there's all different ones out there, and sometimes I'll just get whatever's on sale. But that's kind of what I do as far as a clear coat. Now there's some different options on these. Again, you can paint the pieces, you can stain them, you can just leave them natural and clear coat. And I'm going to tell you in a minute the one that's hardwood. I'm going to tell you the different woods I use, so keep watching. But yeah, so you can just put them together like this. A couple of other things you could do, and sometimes I do, I'll put "He is risen" on here. I'll write it in marker or wood burner, put "He is risen," or you could put "He is risen" up here on the stone or whatever. Most people have the cross straight up and down. My little touch to have it angled is like it's falling. Jesus isn't on the cross anymore. He is risen. And the cross, to remember the cross and how he suffered and everything, but it's finished. He's risen. And so I kind of have the cross tipped like it's finished. He's not up there anymore. And he's conquered the cross. So that's why I have it a little angled like it's falling. That's kind of just my thing. But yeah, you can write things on it. You can have a cross on it. You can have a bigger cross. Some people have a bigger cross. They might have it behind. There's all different ways you can do it. You can write things on there. You can write scripture. I've seen people write the different scripture on there. Another thing you can do, I haven't done it yet, but you can have the stone, actually a stone. Use a rock. Use like a round rock and put on there. That would be cool. I'm going to try one like that because we have some rocks we've got from the North Shore up in Minnesota. Hopefully, actually, in a few weeks, we're going up there. My wife and I, we're praying that we'll be able to go this year. Anyway, but yeah, you can put a stone on there. Another option. And what I usually do is put felt on the bottom base. Just put the self-adhesive felt on there. Just make it nice for on a tabletop. Again, you can make all different sizes. There's so many options. Think outside the box, y'all. So again, that's the painted version. This is where I stained each piece. This is poplar. It's all the same wood, but I stained it different colors. really cool, really, you know, just things you can do. And this is the hardwood option, and this is what I usually do. This one's heavier. So basically, the mountain behind is maple. The hillside is cherry, over a 1-inch thick cherry that my wife got me. It's really nice cherry. And then this, I think the cave was yellow birch, and it really got dark. Or no, is that mahogany? No. Oh no, that's walnut. The cave is walnut, and then the stone is mahogany, and then the base is oak. So yeah, and then the cross is box elder. Look at that beautiful cross. Box elder is really pretty wood. I don't never have it much of it. It's hard to find, but we do have box elder trees, so I usually have branches. So I'm trying to process and get more box elder for carving spoons, whittling and stuff. But I have a few little boards, and I was able to make some crosses out of box elder, and it looks really nice. So yeah, maple, cherry, walnut, mahogany, oak, and box elder. That's what I use for those, and just a clear coat. Yeah, that's basically how I made those. You know, I'll cut them out, sand, router them if you want, glue them up, do a clear coat. And these are wonderful gifts. I've given a few of these away, and they sell really well. I've sold a bunch of them for $40, $50. I wouldn't sell them for less than that. I don't sell things much anymore. It's just really hard to do, but they are good sellers. But it's just a nice way to share your faith at the Easter season. But yeah, think outside the box, because there's so many different options. Again, you can do all different sizes, and you can do more pieces and less pieces, and you can use different woods, and you know, the cross and the stone and scripture, and you write things on them. Oh, the other thing is I make it all on my Scrollsaw. You don't have to. You could you could make the pieces. You can cut them on a bandsaw if you want. You can use a jigsaw. You can use a hand coping saw or some kind of, some kind of Dremel. I mean, you can use hand tools. You think, whatever you have, use what you have. And that's the thing too. If you're just getting into woodworking, just use what you have and do what you want, do what you like, be creative, be unique and different. And I just think it's fun. I enjoy woodworking. I enjoy scrollsawing, and I like making different things. I like making things that everybody's making, but I like to make different things and make them different, combine different patterns and stuff. And I like to find old patterns, and I'm doing that a lot too. I have old magazines of woodworking books and magazines, and finding older patterns and bringing back some of the older designs and stuff. And it's just fun. And I like to make something and then put it on Facebook or make a YouTube video and show, and people are like, oh wow, we've never seen that one before, or we haven't seen it in years. It's kind of fun to do that, but it's fun to try different things. So yeah, try to make an empty tomb this Easter season and share it with others. That's about it. Just wanted to show you this project, and kind of fun, simple, easy, meaningful, and lots of different options. So think outside the box and make your own empty tomb project. So anyway, I end this video for now. I just pray you're all doing well, and thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.